Hey there, I know what you're thinking. Did producer Ryan's microphone die after recording multiple different attempts at the ad this week? Of course not. He's so good at his job that would never happen. You know who else is good at their job? Treo Realtors. Treo Realtors is the best realtor in the Queen City. Treo Realtors' quality and consistency is unmatched by any realtor in town. Treo Realtors has such personal service they could never be replaced by robots. Treo Realtors, we do real estate better. Now, on with the show.
For the week of January 27th, 2020, welcome to This Week in Cincinnati, the podcast dedicated to bring you the news of the Queen City without all of the depressing parts. This week, we'll be discussing black market crabs, forever chemicals, the Florence Y'alls, and much, much more.
Welcome to glorious Cincinnati. It is sensational for Cincinnati. It's skyline time. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
So, Alysa, how was your week?
My week was great. We had grandparents bingo night at C.O. Harrison on Friday night, and that is always a ball.
What's C.O. Harrison?
That is my kids' elementary school.
Oh.
They are geniuses, the PTA at this school. They arranged for grandparents night to be during the book fair. So grandma and grandpa bring little junior to school and go and spend all their money at the book fair. Suckers. Love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very smart.
So, very smart. So we got the prime Friday night reservation because I'm volunteering tonight. But
You have to reserve going to the book fair?
there are 1,000 kids at our school. And grandparents bingo is a really,
So you have to
hot ticket.
reserve the grandparents bingo.
Yes, exactly. There are 2 separate sessions, and one session you play bingo while the other ones are at the book fair, and then you switch. But then there are 3 different nights because we have a very large school. So the other people have to come on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. And you have grandparents going to this?
My godmother is taking Luca. Yes, because we don't have any family in town that are actual grandparents.
So they don't ID at the door.
They don't ID at the door.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that sounds like fun. What
Yeah.
else did you do?
Good time. You know what? It was just a pretty crazy week. So a lot of work and then a lot of relaxing at work, getting myself ready for my trip next weekend, which we can talk about when we talk about next weekend.
But you don't know where you're going or what you're doing, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. Or is there?
That was what we were going to talk about.
Oh. I guess it's been covered then.
guess so.
But we'll see. Maybe we'll get back to that at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty enjoyable weekend. We had this basketball night on Friday.
Okay.
So we watched the Kings High School play.
Fun.
And then they call the kids out, and nobody's paying attention. And they're like, meet the Kings youth basketball players.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my kid thinks that they're going to be like, and number 14, Paxton Keppler. And he's going to run out by himself, and everyone's going to be applauding him. But it's like, no. It's the whole group.
Yeah.
They announce you.
Yeah.
And then you leave.
Oh,
So
how's Kings basketball doing this year?
they have won only 2 games.
Okay.
So not good.
Yeah. Oak Hills is doing very well. So anytime we have anything planned on a Friday night, like a dance or whatever, our attendance has been down because everybody's been going to the basketball games.
Everybody's into the games.
So we'll see
Yep.
how grandparents bingo.
Yep. So we did that, and then we did the typical go hang out with another family, eat pizza. They make something for the adults.
Yeah.
I'd rather be eating pizza, and then we sit around
Okay.
and hang out
Well, that sounds fun.
and maybe play cards.
I
We
love
try-
to play cards.
You
that
know what
sounds
else we
like
did?
a good time.
We played Settlers of Catan. Have you played that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know what that is?
No.
It's the number 1 selling game in the world
Sure.
over the past 10 years.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's true. But it's it's your family would like it.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
because you're sort of into what is the it's not like a fantasy game, but it's sort of like a strategic game where you're conquering lands and there's like houses. It's like Monopoly, sort of.
Okay.
And you have to like have grain and stuff like this, and then if people roll a dice, you pay them. It's the more I think of it, it's just like Monopoly, but it's without all the fun names.
Interesting.
And but it takes a long time, and there's a ton of rules. That's the hardest part. We tried to read through the rules, and we didn't know what we were doing half the time.
Yeah, Luca and I struggled with the Home Alone board game. There were a lot of rules, so I feel like maybe we need a little on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was that.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's January.
It's January. It doesn't feel like it, though, but it is January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's get on down to it.
Do it.
How's that sound? Good. In business, we have 2 stories for you. The Human Rights Campaign Foundation recently released a ranking of LGBTQ inclusive workplace policies, and some greater Cincy companies did great. Fifth Third, Frost Brown Todd, which is a big law firm downtown, Kroger, Macy's, and P&G all made it on the list. A company needs a score of 100 to make the list. So perfect score. And the average score for the state of Ohio was 79. AK Steel, American Financial, Cintas, and Cincinnati Financial and Western Southern all scored under 20.
Yikes.
AK Steel, I get that, right? Cintas, American Financial, like them and Cincinnati Financial and Western and Southern, you'd think they all would have adopted some policies by now.
Western Southern's a very conservative company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally all I know, but I wasn't really surprised to hear that they were on that list.
Well, everyone had scores of like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So there's probably 10 things you got to do, you know, and everyone gets like 1 or 2. One is probably like they don't look to out people and beat them. Probably get you at least 10 points.
Right.
But isn't there another...
20 doesn't seem that great.
Isn't there another letter after... Is there a Y? LBGTQ... Isn't there like a 6th letter, or is that it?
I think that's it, unless there's a new one.
I think there's a new one.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to check that out. Ryan,
is there a letter that comes after the Q?
Well, hopefully someone at, one of these bottom scoring companies is listening to our podcast in the HR department, and maybe they'll get
their act together. You know who else ranked really high in the state of Ohio? Wendy's.
Okay.
So
nice.
And which reminded me, I was driving by and I was driving by an Arby's. Didn't go. Yeah. But I drove by it. And on their sign, they were not advertising anything except now hiring tuition, college tuition for you and your family. Was on the billboard. And I thought, what?
Interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of fast food places do tuition assistance.
Well, apparently
like
they do.
Taco Bell or somebody, I can't remember.
Yeah. So Arby's, they give you, I think there's like a limit of $56.25, but they also give $2,500 to a family member to go to college. But Starbucks, and I learned, if you work 20 hours, they'll send you to Arizona State University's online program.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
This has nothing to do with LGBTQZ
or Cincinnati. But we never go.
But that was part of my exciting weekend. Yeah. Was finding that out.
There you go.
So just something to be aware of.
Yeah. So throughout 2019, over 1.8 million patrons visited the Cincinnati Museum Center, which is a new record for the museum in its 29-year history. The record year comes after the museum's wholesale restorations made to the center. CWC unwrapped the secrets of the mummies and ancient Egypt, ignited scientific learning in an explosive fashion, and brought a national treasure to Cincinnati to celebrate its 50th anniversary of Apollo 11, which is in its final days. It is open through February 17th. So if you haven't seen Apollo 11, you should go check it out. We are members at the Museum Center. We did see the Egypt display. I didn't get to spend as much time there as I wanted to because it was me, Gavin, and Luca. And Luca's my youngest one. And Luca just really likes to see buttons, like press buttons and make stuff work. He's like a very manual kid. And Gavin and I were like reading all the stuff, and Luca just wanted nothing to do with it. So we moved through it a little faster than I would have liked to. We actually haven't been through the Apollo 11, the paid exhibit, but we love the Neil Armstrong, the new section that's opened up. It's very cool.
Yeah, we need to go. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the tickets are relatively affordable.
Oh, for sure.
But, I was reading the article, and what really stood out to me is like, oh, wow, I got to get there. Mm-hmm. Have you seen their IMAX movies at all?
I haven't, actually. Luca really doesn't like loud noises and like overwhelming things.
It sounds like Luca needs to get a babysitter.
He does. I just need to go with Gavin.
He's just a lot of...
Yeah, he's very high maintenance.
Oh, man. Like, I don't want to say he's ruining a big portion of your life.
I mean...
But, come on.
Love you, Luca.
Love you, Luca. No, they have so it's like a 5. For one I've read, I haven't been there. Mm-hmm. But Linder paid a bunch of money to apparently redo it in 2016.
Yeah.
It's 5 stories up. They show a big old movie on the screen, and there's something called Superpower Dogs.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the billboards for that.
You have?
I've seen the billboards, yeah.
I haven't.
Oh, really?
These people spent 3 years filming dogs in, like, life-saving situations from all over the world, and they made a movie about it. Mm-hmm. So it's cute. I watched a little clip, and there's a dog, like, trying to smell people under an avalanche.
Yeah. Aww.
And they have little goggles on and a little outfit.
Aw.
Yeah.
Rescue doggies.
I liked it.
Cute. That's right up your alley. Yeah, you should go.
The Florence Freedom of the Independent Frontier League has changed their name to the Florence Y'alls in honor of the signature water tower that looms over the northern Kentucky city. The team's new owners held a naming contest through the offseason to give fans their say on the team's new name. Y'alls easily won every round. So, of course. Other finalists include Fossil Jockeys. Don't know what that is. I mean, there's jockeys in Kentucky. Oh. There's fossils probably in Kentucky somewhere. Yeah. That was kind of weird. The Go-Gettas, spelled, like the Geta sausage. The No Socks, which I thought was creative. I don't know why we don't wear socks, but it's funny. Yeah. And the Pop Flies, which that seems like it'd be something on like a kid's t-ball team. Yeah. Yeah, but what's your take on the Y'alls?
Yeah. I don't enjoy it. I enjoy it's Florence Y'all on the big water tower or whatever, but it's just what people that aren't from here and don't know about the water tower are going to be like, what the hell's a y'all?
Well, they all know that people say y'all.
Well, right.
Okay.
But it's not a thing.
Well, do you know the old mascot for the Florence Freedom? You know what it was? Mm-mm. It was like, imagine, you've seen like Mr. Redlegs, right?
Yeah.
A big old baseball head with a hat.
Right.
Imagine the same thing, but in place of the like big, head it's a baseball, it's actually the water tower. So yeah, no, it's the same shape. It's that like, the top, it looks like a top, but it's like fat in the middle. Mm-hmm. And then it has the stripes. Yeah. And so they were already sort of water tower-ish.
Yeah, they were.
Before they even changed their name. But why I respect them is because they straight up said, whatever the public wants, we're going to go with.
Yeah, that's true. We covered that on the
podcast
last
And
year.
if they wanted Bodie McBoatface, that would have been the name. Yeah. Because they have integrity.
They do.
Yeah. And I'd buy this gear. Yeah. I wouldn't buy something that said Florence Freedom. Well, no. But if it was called the Florence Y'alls, I would totally buy it.
All right. Well, there you go. You guys have got some customers.
Like there's some great minor league teams. I don't think you appreciate this.
I feel like I don't.
Because you don't understand like minor league baseball and how hard it is to make that enjoyable. It's actually more enjoyable probably than Major League.
I've been to some games because we have the Brooklyn Cyclones, which are actually, I think they're a Mets.
You have what?
We had the Brooklyn Cyclones.
Oh, you mean where you
Brooklyn,
were? I thought you were saying we had season tickets to.
No,
so like what do you not have season tickets to?
We've never had season tickets until we moved here, and now we have all the things. Yeah.
Well, anyways, so good job them for keeping it real.
I agree. Well, I definitely agree with that. In politics, we have two stories this week.
Billions and billions.
Good, we cut it down one. Ohio could vote this November to expand voting rights and enshrine them in the state constitution. The new measure would allow Ohioans to register and cast a ballot on the same day during the early voting and on election day. It would also enact automatic voter registration, meaning eligible citizens would be registered to vote when applying, renewing, or updating their driver's license, permits, or IDs. A coalition led by the Ohio ACLU is in the process of getting the required signatures, 442,958 to be exact, to get the measure on the ballot. I love this. I like that it's going on the ballot so the citizens of Ohio can actually directly vote for it. I think that increasingly we find ourselves in this country not feeling represented by our representatives. So I like this, and I am very big on voting. That's kind of my thing. Like whether you're Republican or Democrat or in the middle or green or yellow, I think you should be able to vote. So, and being able to do it with your when you're doing your driver's license, like you're providing a lot of ID to get your driver's license. So that's a great place to be able to register to vote.
Do you know of a lot of people that have trouble like getting registered to vote though? Or,
I don't know that it's necessarily difficult. I think that it's one of those things that people are probably always going, oh yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, people are busy. I think this could help voter turnout.
Well, I am wondering when these I thought, why do we not have some sort of a tech solution for this?
Yeah.
Because you think that as much money that goes into these elections, you can easily replace all these people, all these polling centers, all the count. Like, I don't know if half it's volunteered or paid or what, but
they pay you a small
why is there not a nationwide solution for this?
Well, I think right now, because elections are handled on a local and state level for the most part, and then also it's one of those big states' rights things where they don't want to relinquish to the national.
Well, okay.
But also, I think
why isn't there a technology company
hacks,
that sells a company? I mean, they could sell you don't have to it doesn't have to be a national voting system, but you can have some software that people install for their government with their list of people who are registered.
Yeah.
And why aren't we there?
I don't. Well, there are a lot of local precincts that don't have much funding. I think there was just a thing this past year where, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, because I know nothing about Windows. But
I will also correct you if you're wrong, because I may know.
About Windows?
Windows 95.
Exactly.
Windows
so
Vista.
all these computers, all these voting computers were running like really old software, and there were security patches that were supposed to have been installed and they weren't. And so they were all getting hacked and so I think just to have confidence in our elections, those kind of upgrading technology costs money, and some of these precincts don't have any money to give to elections. So I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, it's hard for sure.
All right.
I like this.
You like this?
I like this because either Ohioans want it or they don't, and they'll vote for it. Yeah. Hopefully they vote for it.
So-called forever chemicals. That sounded weird. So-called, not so, comma. Anyways, so-called forever chemicals used to make Teflon and other products have been found in Cincinnati's drinking water during a series of new lab tests. The Environmental Working Group, which is an activist group with a long history of combating forever chemicals, discovered the toxic substances. These chemicals are used to manufacture waterproofing material and stain/fire-resistant coating on carpets and clothing. However, don't worry too much. The amount of chemicals is less than 1% of the danger level, so you'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't really want to have any Teflon in my system. Yeah, exactly.
So they say. So, well, have you seen... So Netflix has this documentary
seen it. I need to go watch it.
Called The Devil We Know.
Yeah.
So I think it's what it's called.
No.
Yeah. And it's all about like how DuPont, came up with this Teflon material.
Yeah.
Got the EPA to approve it. A bunch of people in their like production facilities died. A bunch of the ones that were pregnant, their kids came out deformed, and they were also dumping a bunch of these materials.
Well, this is because they're over in West Virginia, right? Like at the top of the Ohio River, and that's why the Ohio River is disgusting. Yeah.
One of the many
One
reasons.
of the many reasons.
But yeah, so the big part of the story was how covered up it was.
Oh, yeah.
And has been, and how the government's known, and that no one's doing anything.
Yeah. And is this what Dark Waters is about too? That new Mark Ruffalo movie that came out this season?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
So, yeah. So it's. I think you have to come to terms with the fact that there is like Teflon inside of you, and it doesn't leave. So once you drink it,
yeah,
it just sort of hangs out.
Yeah.
You know, but you can basically install a carbon filter in your home.
Yeah.
That should pull some of that stuff out. The city's aware of it. They say they've been monitoring this for 30 years.
Right.
They have carbon filters that they use to try to pull stuff out. They're trying not to make it a big deal. It just sucks that we're at the place where, we have weird forever chemicals in our water.
Oh, yeah. Well, because, things don't really get regulated very well, I don't think. They just poison people and then we'll pull it off the shelves if they find out.
Poison first, ask questions later,
Yeah,
as they say.
Kind of. All right, on to sports. So we have changed this to our quick Cincy sports update since we never know how long this is going to take. Anyway, UC Bearcats basketball is on a 2-game win streak after their recent loss to number 20 Memphis. They sit at 12-7 on their record. They are third in their division. UC women's basketball is going well with a 12-6 record and sitting fourth in the division. And Xavier basketball has lost 3 of their last 4 games, but their recent win over Georgetown moves them to sole custody of 7th place in the division with a 13-6 record. Yikes. Obviously, their division seems a little harder because that record is not, it's actually better than UC's.
They have a better division.
They have a better division, yeah. Xavier women are 2-16 and currently ranked 7 in the Big East as well. And their division is clearly quite a bit easier.
Well, they're in the same
smaller.
division.
Well, but the women's teams are...
Oh, you mean the talent?
Yes.
Well, a lot of times, too, it just has to do with scheduling. How quickly you play some of the tough teams. If you squeeze a bunch of those crappier teams in. And it's still early-ish in the season.
Yeah.
So, that's where we are.
All right.
Great job. Woo. You nailed it in sports.
I did. That was fast,
You talked about the Y'alls, too. That was sports-related.
We did.
Well, in entertainment, we have 3 stories for you.
I'll be in touch. Ciao.
This says ciao.
How did you not know this was from Ciao?
At the time, I thought it was ciao like goodbye. Like ciao, arrivederci.
Authorities with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection at the port of Cincinnati have intercepted 51 shipments of mitten crabs over the last 4 months. You know what mitten crabs are?
I don't.
Crabs with little cute mittens on.
Shut up.
That's what they're called. Anyways, they probably have like little hands that look like they're wearing mittens.
Yeah, they must.
I don't know though.
That's a lot of crabs.
That is a lot of crabs. 3,400 pounds to be exact. Yes. Mitten crabs are a delicacy in Asia and go for almost $50 a crab.
Wow.
In the U.S. It's illegal to import the crabs without a proper license. The total crab count equaled 3,700, around a third of the 11,000 seized since September. Who is in the crab black market in Cincinnati?
Right? What's happening?
I don't know.
That's wild.
There's a crab man out there.
Yeah.
So they said most of them are they're stopping here and then getting shipped to New York.
That's not surprising.
I couldn't tell if they are shipped alive or dead.
I mean, most seafood you have to have fresh, correct?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. They had a big tarp out on a dock.
Yeah.
And they had all these little crabs. They were just laid out. Mm-hmm. But I also saw a picture where they were all bandaged up. Like they're in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. They have rubber bands on every angle of them so they can't move.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're alive or dead. Oh, now, they talk about them being an invasive species. Mm-hmm. But if they're dead, I'm not as worried.
Yeah. I do think, because when you go to get lobster, they pull it out of the tank for you. And
yeah, but that's not shipping from China.
How do you know?
Well, I think these crabs come in boxes because they said they were marked as tools and something else. It's not like a giant container, and it says in this container is lobster, I guess is what you're saying, but it's really crabs.
Yeah, I don't know. Ew.
Yeah, well,
that's gotta smell.
So, Ryan, I'd like you to figure out the best way to. Well, here's the thing. So I tried, and I started like, how do you sneak in crabs or something like this?
Yeah.
And then I started saying there's some sites about
Yeah,
diseases,
that
and I'm like,
Google search and take
I'm
you
like,
down.
I'm gonna let Ryan figure this out. So the best way to ship a crab.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming they're doing this just solely to
Make
get
money.
out of taxes. Yeah.
Wait, what? Well, I think you have to have a license to ship stuff in.
Yeah, it probably costs money to get the license, but then also I'm sure, are taxed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe there's a limit. I think it's an invasive species, so it must be alive. Because if they're worried about it coming in, if it was coming in dead, they wouldn't care.
Right.
So maybe there's a live license, but dead, I don't know.
I don't know.
We need
Anyway.
an expert crab fisherman to come and give us
There
some.
you go. That'll be our first guest.
Hey, if you were our first guest, remember 3 years ago when we talked about the mitten crabs, cute little mittens?
Yeah.
Yeah, we found the guy. He's calling from his jail cell. He was arrested for shipping crabs, but we got him.
There you go.
Not a lot of other people trying to book him.
Cincy Winter Beer Fest is returning in March on the 6th and 7th, so mark your calendars. There will be more than 400 different kinds of beer from more than 130 breweries around the country. The 2-night celebration, which will include Mad Tree, Fretboard Brewing, Taft's, and Braxton, among many others, will be the 12th straight year for the festival at the Duke Energy Center. A full beer list will be released on cincybeerfest.com soon.
Have you been to a beer festival?
I have not, but I feel like we have a lot of them, and it sounds fun.
Well, yeah, there's not a lot to do. But I've been to a couple. I've been to an outdoor one and an indoor one.
Yep.
Outdoor, a lot of fun. Indoor, smelly, long lines, bathrooms are gross. It's always superly well lit to where it just is like, it's like imagine being in Lowe's, right? But then I'm looking at, okay, there's 400 beers, 130 breweries. How many beers do you think you would drink? These aren't like Michelob Ultra, right?
Right.
These are some
Right,
strong
like
beers.
some of the ABVs are probably
So
quite high.
let's do the math, all right?
Yeah.
So how many beers do you think you could put down at a place like this?
I mean, I guess it just depends on how long I was going to be there. I'm pretty good at keeping it to the 1 drink an hour limit so that I can, still walk and not trip over strangers. But
okay, so 6 beers?
Sure.
Okay. So, and I think they're like 1 or 2 ounce pours. Let's say 1 ounce pours.
Well, if they're 1 ounce pours, then
Okay, fine, 2. All right, so it's 2 ounce pours. So that's 6 beers
then I
per
would
or
do
six,
could do like 36
6
beers.
tastes, 36. What?
I'm saying
I don't mean
6 actual 12-ounce beers.
No.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm doing math. Okay. You said you could drink 6 full beers.
Yes.
72 ounces is what you would put down.
Yes.
Okay. You see where I'm going with this?
Okay.
Let's divide that by 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that give you?
What, like 36 beers?
You nailed it.
Yeah.
36. So 36. So out of 400,
Yeah.
you're hitting like such a
not
small.
even 10%.
I
Yeah.
would actually prefer that they just have a smaller number,
Yeah.
and they just say, "Here, go in order."
Well, but also, you're not like, I don't like IPAs, and I'm sure there's a big percentage of these that would be IPAs, so I wouldn't want to try any of those. And then like Sandro doesn't love a porter, so
I think
if
it's
there were
'cause
lots of porters,
it would be a pretty crappy festival if there were 36 beers there, and
Yeah.
then just 36
this is
people.
what you get.
Because we're all going around in the line.
yeah.
That's why I don't run festivals.
There you go.
But I feel like there's
There you go.
I think that's a little
lot of beers.
overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure. This goes back to our, choice issue from last week.
Yeah.
It's just too many choices. I can't decide. And I get such menu anxiety. Like, I'm not often at a place where, like,
Did you say touch menu?
I get such menu
Oh,
anxiety.
I was like, what's a touch menu anxiety? It's like we have to touch the
germs,
menu.
too. Yeah,
It's
no,
like I have
I'm
to touch
just
it 3
kidding.
times before I close it.
I'm not a germaphobe, but I like, I'm not very often at like a fast food place where I have to stand there and order.
Yeah.
But part of the reason I don't go, other than, just my health, is that I can't stand standing there looking at this giant menu while someone's standing behind me waiting to order. I get such menu anxiety, and then I end up ordering the same thing every time, and it's not even what I wanted.
There's a lot of guys that have a shy bladder.
Yes,
and they
I've
can't
heard.
use the restroom at sporting events.
Yeah. Have you ever
Because it's
seen
awkward.
French Kiss with Meg Ryan?
Like every day.
Yeah, duh. They talk about that in there.
No,
They
but
do. Yeah.
but I know what I'm gonna do next weekend.
She says she said something along the lines of, to a stranger, complete stranger. She's like, could you urinate with a big guy standing right behind you? or with someone standing right behind you, and the guy's like, he's French and he's a stranger, and he's like, are you going to be the someone? Great movie.
That's funny. Well, moving on. Carpetright, the well-known UK-based flooring and carpet sales company,
Sure.
analyzed over 500,000 global hotel reviews on Booking.com to determine the loudest and quietest cities in the world. The poll ranked 100 cities, and more than 86% of the reviews in Cincinnati mentioned how loud the city was, making it number one in the U.S. for loudness.
I feel like this may be a flawed study.
Extremely flawed
Maybe
study.
the city's not loud, but maybe the hotel windows all need to be replaced.
Well, I thought maybe people who are coming to the hotel are used to sleeping in quiet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, but still, you'd think in New York it's a little louder.
I think New York people are used to everything being loud.
Well, but when you
Even if
when
you travel.
visit,
Maybe you don't complain about that because there's so much other stuff to complain about.
maybe
Maybe
you
the
just
hotels
need-
are so nice. The only thing to complain about is that it's not fully insulated to where you can hear nothing.
There you go. Yeah, I think maybe we need to work on some new windows.
Maybe. But no, they had a City That Never Sleeps campaign, so that's why they did this.
Aha.
So
Apparently they think it's us.
apparently they think we're fun.
What
but,
did we
Like, we're on the
win?
list. Like, Toledo was up there. Toledo? Like,
Maybe people that come here just don't have anything else to bitch about because it's so delightful. But my hotel room was loud.
I love terrible studies. we should start putting out studies.
There you go.
First of all, first we should do a flooring and bedding store. Like, what? It's a UK based thing, so that's
It's so weird.
Apparently, I've never seen a bedding and flooring store.
Yeah,
ever.
That's an interesting combo. It's smaller there, so they have to just combine stuff.
Like, is it built into the floor?
I don't know.
Do you sleep on the floor?
Sometimes.
Anyways, so what do you got going on this coming weekend?
So guess what? I have no idea.
Oh.
So I happen to have the best friend in the entire world, and I, as you guys know, turned 40.
What's her name?
Her name is Jerry Duncan, and she
Jerry,
is a proud
Jerry?
Jeri. And she is a proud resident of Mason. And I turned 40, this month, and she is whisking me away to destinations unknown.
Wow.
She's picking me up and taking me to the airport. And I suppose when we
So you are flying.
checking in, we are flying.
So we can rule out French Lick, Indiana.
We can. Yeah. She said, the only thing I know is that it is warmer than here.
Well,
That's it. That's all I got.
that's it.
That's it.
How many nights?
We are leaving Friday night.
Yeah.
And we will be returning very late on Monday. So 2 nights.
Oh.
So, so I'm pretty excited. Like, I literally don't care what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye. See ya.
Well, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. What are your plans?
What are my plans? Well, this is where I go through and look at my calendar because I only go where I am told. Mm-hmm. Oh, so this is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So we're celebrating a friend of ours who's turning 40.
Yes.
I'm not going to mention any names. They don't find out. But I bought tickets for a concert for all of us to go to. I like the band. Her husband likes the band. They don't really like the band, but they decided they'd go because it could be fun. Well, I bought tickets. They said it was in Newport Theater.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I'll drive down to Newport, Kentucky.
Yeah.
No, that's apparently in Columbus. Because it was like Spotify kept advertising it to me.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, that sounds like fun. So I bought. And as soon as I got to the confirmation screen, they're like, your tickets are on their way. And then it gave me the address of the place, and I was like, no. So I had to sell them back to Ticketmaster and take a loss. But her surprise is that we're still going out, but we're not going to the concert she didn't want to go to.
Oh, good.
And then she's going to be excited.
Nice.
So we got that, and then my wife is going to those igloos downtown.
Huh?
They're on the rooftop of one of the hotels. You can rent these igloos and hang out.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So she's doing that. You think that sounds fun? I'm probably going to take 3 kids Chick-fil-A.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then...
this is on Saturday, correct?
Saturday.
Okay, good.
And then...
Because they're closed on Sundays.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Every time I want to go to Chick-fil-A, it's a Sunday. And I'm like, son of a.
No.
Like, I'm very happy for their employees that they're
We
closed on
figured that
Sundays.
out years ago, that you can't go on
I
Sundays.
know, but it just still gets me every time.
And then we got basketball.
Yeah, you know.
So, but it should be nice.
Yeah, part of me is super bummed that my kids don't play sports because Sandro and I are so into sports.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, my kids don't play sports. I'm not a slave to their schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway. Speaking of sports, if you are looking for a budget option to do this weekend, calling all mascot fans. Come watch your favorite Cincinnati mascots lace up their skates to compete in the annual mascot broomball game at the UC Health Ice Rink presented by Fifth Third on Fountain Square. This is going to be at 11 o'clock on Saturday. It is free and it promises to provide plenty of comical thrills and spills, so bundle up and come prepared to cheer. Stick around for meet and greets and photos, then hit the ice and skate with your family. Aw, I'm kind of bummed I'm going to be out of town.
Yeah.
This sounds delightful.
Maybe the Florence Y'all will mascot. Is he just called Mr. Y'all? We'll call him Mr. Y'all.
I think
Maybe
so.
Mr. Y'all will be there.
There you go.
Have you ever played broomball before?
I have not, but Luca has at the Cyclones game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a big Miami thing.
Is that, yeah. I think his music teacher actually did it at Miami.
Yeah, except we drink a lot and then we get like a concussion
Yeah.
because we go out there and run around our shoes and then just bam, slam our head on the ice and it's like, this is a bad move.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't ice skated yet this year. I gotta get that in.
But they didn't know about concussions back when I was in college.
No.
Nope. Nobody cared. And if you got some cash to spend, well, did you know that producer Ryan's former life, he worked at an escape room company? Probably not, because they probably didn't know. No one really cares.
Yeah. I knew that because I've seen his
Yeah.
resume, but.
Yeah. Like, I worked at a video store. Nobody knows that.
Ooh, they do now.
Well, now you do. He can't recommend them enough for family fun or coworker collaboration, but definitely do not take a first date there. Get locked in one. That's true. That would suck.
Yeah.
Well, they'd probably put you with another group, and then who knows? That sounds like a terrible first
Sounds
date.
awful. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you're, well, I could probably go with my spouse. It'd be fun. Anyways, get locked in one of 5 rooms, work with your family and friends to escape and beat the clock using your wit, intuition, and teamwork. Room prices range from $70 to $170, depending on how many are in your group. So there you go. Breakout games all over Cincinnati.
Nice. I don't know why I haven't done that before.
We did it here at the company.
Well,
You didn't go?
no.
Was that before your
It
time?
must have been before me.
No. I think you had some other interesting thing to do.
I doubt it. Anyway.
Nope, must have been before you
I think
then.
it was
Well, we
before me.
broke out. Record time, they said.
Oh, nice.
For the day. for the day. Not
If
ever.
you're looking for an oddball thing to do on a Friday night with a date, join Hightail Mount Adams on Friday, January 31st from 4 p.m. to close for the best brunch event on the hill. That's the only reason it's weird.
Yep.
Because it's brunch on a Friday night.
Well, and it's called Bagels, Booze, and Tunes.
It is.
Which doesn't really go together as well as you'd like. You think there'd be
No,
like
like-
bagels, booze, and something with a B.
Yeah, I like the alliteration. It's like they start with the alliteration and then they stop. Yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, relive your childhood while watching your favorite throwback cartoons and snacking on 1 or 3 donuts. They're encouraging you to dress in your PJs and maybe even bring your blanket for a boozy brunch menu featuring mimosas and Bloody Marys. That sounds delightful.
It sounds like how I spend most of my Saturday mornings. Just not outside.
Yeah.
Watching cartoons and drinking.
Yeah. And now that you can stream stuff.
Yes.
I like the old cartoons.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is all for This Week in Cincinnati. We are looking forward to a great 2020 with the podcast, and we want to hear from you on what you'd like to hear. Feel free to slide into our DMs on Instagram or Facebook with any comments, questions, and suggestions for the podcast, or if you want your business, event, or story featured on the episode. Be aware that this is the podcast with no filter, and we will give an honest review if we know anything about it.
Are we trying out new taglines right now?
I'm just riffing, just going with it. Anyway, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review at the end of this episode. Now stay tuned for the cleanup with producer Ryan Taulbee as he corrects all the mistakes and misinformation we tried to feed you as fact and answers all of our questions throughout the episode. For Brett and myself, have an amazing week. This Week in Cincinnati.
Hello, guys, and welcome to This Week in Cincinnati. Hello guys, welcome to the Cleanup with producer Ryan here. I am here to help, correct everything Brett and Alysa got wrong, or, they just ask me to figure things out using the great power of the internet. So let's get down to it. All right, starting with the Human Rights Campaign. They say LGBTQ. That's what they go by. I know there's usually a plus at the end, so LGBTQ plus. Not a Z or any other really letter I could find. I know sometimes there's IA at the end, apparently. But please, if you know more information about this, please write in. I'm more than happy to be corrected and learn more about this stuff because, I think it's important for people to know. As for voting machines, John Oliver actually has a really good expose on this from his HBO show. But voting machines are totally effed. So, according to some quick research I did, the vast majority of the 10,000 election jurisdictions in the United States use Windows 7 on their voting computers, which Microsoft officially stopped supporting like 3 weeks ago. So they're going to need to fix that. Apparently, in the 2018 midterm election, some machines in Georgia were using Windows 2000, which Microsoft stopped supporting 10 years ago. And apparently, in 2015, Virginia used Wi-Fi machines, and the password was ABCDE. So our devices that we use, our technology for voting is just so underdeveloped and not with the times. It's all very, not barbaric, but it's just so out of touch. And the funding is also not there. Like, the states want to do this, but they don't have the money. And the feds don't want to pay for it. Or at least, some certain people don't want to pay for it. Because some people are, pretty interested in keeping the status quo. So it's all effed and messed up. And our voting technology has a long way to go. Now, on to something more fun, crabs. According to ilovecrabs.com, you can, in fact, get crabs shipped to you live. And the way they do it is they put them in a styrofoam box and pack them up with gel packs and dry ice. That's how you ship a crab to someone. ilovecrabs.com. Go ahead and do it. And finally, I will not put up with the shaming of the stall using men. You will never catch me at a bar, at a restaurant, at a sporting event, at work even, using any urinal. You will always find me in the stall. The people using the urinals should be the ones that are weird. Just peeing in the open, no walls, no protection, no nothing, just you out in the air doing your business for anyone to see. That should be weird. Standing in a closed box with 4 walls around you and your own privacy, that should be the normal. That should be what is normal. And so yeah, I am not ashamed of my need to use a stall when I need to use a bathroom. There's nothing wrong with that. And no one can ever tell me anything different. So don't write in about that. I will delete your email. How about that? I'm just kidding. Anyway, as always, thanks for listening, guys. And have a great, great week this week in Cincinnati. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
This has been absolutely beautiful, you guys. I can't believe it's come to an end. You guys will always be in my heart, and I sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. God, I love you guys. And I love you guys. And my family, my wife Vanessa, our daughters Natalia and Gianna, thank you guys for all your sacrifice. For all the hours I spent in the gym working and training. And Vanessa, you holding down the family the way that you have. I can't, there's no way that I can thank you enough for that. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And what can I say? Mamba out.